today or
Cool.
tomorrow. So yeah,
Oh, nice. Very cool. Awesome.
yeah. Um, no, man, I'm excited. Thank you for being with us, folks. Let me tell you who I got with me today. I'm going to sit down with Sean McManus, and he's the founder of McManus Strength and Nutrition. But the cool part, we're going to talk about faith, fatherhood, and his calling to help Christian men reclaim strength and purpose. Sean's going to share with us how he left corporate safety to build a coaching business rooted in discipline, obedience, and growth, and why passivity is the quiet enemy of today's men. I'm excited, man. I really, being a fitness guy and having that passion myself and discovering it later in life, I enjoy, man. Sean, when I get folks like you on that you seem to be a little bit younger than me, and you're trailblazing in a conversation that I was probably afraid to have just with health and fitness earlier on. So I'm excited to hear your perspectives, learn from you, and man, just really help you amplify what you're doing. So I love the mission, and but welcome, thanks for being with me, brother.
Jeff, thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words. I'm excited for today. I'm excited for the conversation that we're going to have and the impact that we're going to make on the show today.
Yeah, do you tell me like what's a day in your life look like nowadays?
Yeah. So right now, so I'll just kind of run through my day. Typically, I'm up around 5. I spend some time in the Word. I spend some time doing some journaling, doing some reading, doing a little bit of coaching. Very first thing. And then the coolest part, one of the coolest parts about my days now that I did not get when I was in corporate America was my little 4-year-old gets up between 6:30 and 7 every morning, and
Yeah.
I used to be gone when he woke up in the morning, and now I get to sit with him on the couch and snuggle for 5 or 10 minutes before we get the day started. Um, so
It's a big
that's just a
deal.
cool thing.
Sean,
Yeah,
that's a big
it's
deal.
huge, man.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's little side note. I talk to some guys and I say a lot of times it's like if that's the only reason I get to keep being an entrepreneur, that's
Yeah,
good
it's
enough
worth
for
it.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
yeah.
with you.
So anyway, we snuggle for a few minutes and then we get breakfast started. We usually cook breakfast every morning. That used to just be a weekend thing. So we cook a good breakfast together every morning. Get to have breakfast with the family. And then I jump into some coaching, typically around 8 o'clock, and I'll work on that for an hour, a couple hours, and then I'll get into some marketing or some type of administrative work for the business, and then I go work out, lift, come home, eat lunch, and then work on business stuff in the afternoon until around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then bounce off and cook some supper and hang out with the kids and the wife.
It's we're not too far apart schedule wise. Like that's about what I kind of run. I had this sneaky feeling. I don't know when you exited, but I left a good paying W-2 job to go out on my own for time.
Yeah,
I wanted to spend more time with my kids, and I was getting to the point, dude, where I love purpose, and I love what work can do for me. And when I did
amen.
police work, like I was in it and I was absorbed by it. And when I was in dealership world, I was absorbed by it, and we were growing and doing big things. And man, it stole away a lot of my time.
Amen. Yeah, that's 100% true. That's time is the only thing that we don't get any more of. We can always make
Yeah.
more money. We can always do more things, but you'll never get yesterday back.
Did you just for context for a lot of for the folks that are listening to us, um, mom and dad, your mom and dad in your life, did you have that both parties present all the time for you? So
Yeah, man. Yeah,
yeah,
I
good.
got kind of a cheat code. I had excellent parents. They homeschooled. It was me and my 6 siblings. So there were
Yeah.
7 of us all together. We all got homeschooled and grew up on a farm. And both my parents love Jesus and are still married and thriving to this day. So that was definitely a cheat code for me.
Yeah, and I ask that because there's always a backstory to get us to where we are. Some good, some bad, and what I like for folks to take away, especially when we're talking about parenting, because it's so unique and it's so individualized, and it's situations can be based on situations. So a lot of times, folks that come on this podcast may have dealt with a lot of adversity in your life, and this and the other, but for what I appreciate, Sean, is the folks like you that come along, and I would probably equate you to someone who's lived, like you said, in that cheat code where mom and dad, you got both influences and you have those things. Where you come in is you help someone like me find the missing little pieces of, and those like those little tracks of things that mesh together to create this wholesome parenting experience for yourself, right? I've had to figure that out. Like I've had to piece that together from conversations and people and different things. And I had an amazing mother that absolutely did a great job of getting me to where I am. But there was when it come to just never met my real dad. I had that again. I call him stunt dad, amazing guy that was in my life all the time. But just trying to process that as I got working through, and then as I start having my own kids, dude, it's like holy crap, why didn't he come around? I need to leave too. It's like so it's I really appreciate it when I find someone who comes along and just walks me through like, hey, this is what my life looks like. Like it's too cool, man.
Man, yeah, I appreciate that. I actually had a conversation with a good friend of mine when I started kind of doing coaching stuff and getting on a few podcasts. And I was talking to him, and I confessed something to him. I was like, man, I don't really feel qualified because I don't have like a lot of these very successful entrepreneurs or very successful people that you hear about in general, whether it's on social media or on podcasts, they have some kind of horrible backstory,
Yeah.
and they've used that as to create like a trajectory on their life. But I told him, I was like, dude, I did not have a bad childhood. Like I had a great childhood. Um,
That's not a bad thing though, dude. Like
exactly.
and to speak to that, it comes up because it's something that kind of follows me, right? Because everybody, those are my conversations of my original podcast was called the Second Chance Podcast. I did about 100 episodes. We did about 100 episodes, and I was winding it down, and I kept thinking like, all right, man, you've really turned. So, dude, let me tell you what, those guests absolutely changed my approach to me and
I can only
approach to
imagine.
a lot of other things just because it helped me find clarity in my own stuff. So for me, it was a little bit about counseling, a little just healing through the conversation type thing for me, dude. So I don't I would tell you this, like I'm not envious of the what could be perceived as a perfect life that you had because you had your own stuff, you've
Of
had your
course.
own things, and we all do. And I don't think that there's anything to take away from it. I think a superpower is you help someone like me breathe a little normal. What that nuclear parent, so to say, or that life, of you coming along at the right time for someone like me really can ground and help and you know what I mean? Because I didn't understand relationships. I didn't understand. I thought you had a few beers on Friday and fought.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's just right. It was just exposures, and then law enforcement amplifies that because you're around it and you like see it all the time. You're like, well, it must be the way it is.
Yeah. This is
Um,
it.
why? But like, all right, so through all of that though, I don't see that like I'm not I don't sit back and go, I wish I had Sean's upbringing. I wish I had Sean's life.
Yeah.
I think we're all have our own unique experience when it's said and done.
I'm with you. I think that requires a lot of growth too. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's, you come to this place where you've put in the work, and it's not all the work because there's always still work to be done, but you've put in the work and kind of the self-discovery and the self-development stuff and talking to people and having conversations and getting real with yourself. And then you kind of realize you're like, wait a minute, I like me. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good where I am with who I am. Like the stuff that I've gone through has shaped me. The stuff that you have gone through has shaped you. And I can help people in some areas, and you can help people in some areas, and we can just keep doing this thing together.
You hit it though, man, is I like me. And that is a part of that Second Chance podcast was over my shoulder here. I used to have a sign called "Breaking the Curse," and it was mainly about helping people find closure in those hard moments that of setbacks and breaking the curse of that. But it was sometimes I over applied it in areas like life. Like life was a
Mm,
curse, and I'm like,
mm,
oh, by the time I got to about that 100th episode, I pulled that sucker down. I had some T-shirts made up. I put those T-shirts in the garbage. I don't even think they made the Goodwill pile. I think they hit the
Mm,
garbage because it's not a curse. Like if there's
amen.
any discovery that I made, man, it was everything but, and it was very purposeful intent. And now my leadership, the way that I approach my leadership trainings now is 10 times different, just through these
Yeah, man.
conversations, man.
Yeah, of course. But that takes growth because I think, sometimes we try to put labels on things, and sometimes things need labels, but sometimes I think we go so far in that one direction, like you were saying. Now we're looking at everything in like a negative light or in a
Yeah.
way that's not helpful, and we because we put our finger on this thing, it's like, wait a minute, that's affecting so many other areas, and it's almost gotten too important. Like we wanted to give it a name to acknowledge it, and now we're worshiping it. So I definitely can see where that goes.
There's been a handful of dudes that come on that's walking kind of the journey that you're walking, Dad. So man, it warms me up when I hear that is dads, more folks like me that kind of exited to be a that role model and be present and in your kids' lives. You just had the one 4 year old.
So I've got one. He's almost 5. That's my
Yep.
oldest, and then my second son will be 2 in just a
Yeah.
few days. Yeah,
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, that's cool. It's a boy and girl. My daughter, they're 2 years apart, 15 and 13. So
nice.
I'm slightly ahead of you, but I'll tell you this, is time's not your friend,
Amen.
and not moving forward. Like there's going to be a point in time when my son is 30, and you're going to come back on my, he's going to be 28. You're going to come back on when your son is, let's see, in 10 years he'll be 15. My
15.
son will
Yeah.
be 25. So in 10 years you're going to come back on and you're going to go, holy crap, right? My arms a little bigger, right? Because I've been working out, I've been doing all my things. But my son has gone bam like that. It's
Man.
all that stuff. Those old guys will come along and tell you about time getting away. It is absolutely, and we do. Me and my wife has talked about this. Like we do so much. Like we're in it, we're going, but you're. Sometimes we don't have enough time to catch our breath because we're just trying to get all that we can get.
Amen. Yeah, that's such an important thing to look at on a day to day basis. I mean, even now with my little guy being almost 5, like I remember when we had him, and like how much my world was just like turned upside down on its head, and how just that feeling of I didn't realize I could love something or someone this much, and and I look at him now, and the dude's putting his own shoes on, like he's putting his own clothes on. We're wrestling. I mean, we wrestle all the time, and he's the more we wrestle, the more he starts to hurt because
Yeah,
he's getting bigger.
yeah.
And man, I just look at him sometimes, and I'm like, bro, when did you get so big? He's like, I don't know, Dad. In his
Just you,
his
Dad.
little
Yeah,
voice.
it's
But
catching up to you.
man,
We stood back to back the other day. My son's. I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I'm 5'7", um, 5'8" and a half. I'm wearing Doc Martens, right? My kiss boots. But he and I are. He's taller than me now, and that's like a huge milestone. Um, just watch it. But you're right, dude. Like it is absolutely. And me and him will talk stuff, and it just doesn't register with him. Also to remind him all the time of what a good job he's doing raising me. And so
mm,
I'm like, you don't. I was on a podcast a few weeks ago. They asked me like, what's something you could do really help your kids? I'm like, don't pass your crap on to them. Realize they're their own
mm,
people. If you can wrap your head around your kid, and in our case, our sons, and my daughter absolutely has the same superpower. But him coming along first is I was fortunate enough to have kids at an older age, so I learned from them. Like I was
mm.
at the point where when he talked, I kind of listened to what his wants, his needs, and I tell him all the time. I'm like, man, I'm just here. Told him last night. I sent him. I sent him. See if I got it. I'll share it with you because it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I was doing some reflecting. I was doing some reflecting and I sent them. This is what I said. Um, where am I trying to prove my worth through effort? And what would happen if I trusted that my worth was already proven?
Ooh, that's wisdom.
Couple athletes, right? They're a couple athletes, and we're busting our butts all the time, just trying to get slightly better. So I was doing just some work for myself. I get ChatGPT to teach me some different stuff and things, and just walking through kind of my own little lessons before I went to bed last night. And that one's where it hit me, and I was like, oh, that's good
Mm.
right there.
Yeah, that is a good one. Because think about how much more impact we can have, and how much more. I mean, just how much more we can do if we lean into that place of my effort is already, or my worth is already established. Like, I'm not working for my worth. Like, my worth is already there. So think
Yeah,
about how much more we can do and how much better we can be leaning into that versus leaning, oh, I have to establish it. I have to establish it. I have to establish it. It's like, no, it's already there. Like, if you're a
yeah.
Christian, your worth comes from Jesus and your relationship with God. So if you can just lean into that, like, imagine the peace that you feel when you're going after these things, and how much more you can do because you know that your worth is already there, and there's
Yeah.
not going to be anything that you do that makes it any more or any less.
I've told folks on that same line, just faith in general, right? I'm like, hey, you pick wherever you, but if you will just realize that just sheer faith has got you right here, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't supposed to be, and if you're beating your head against it, then you're fighting kind of why you're here, and it's not going to work out because you're not accepting the reality of you wouldn't be here if you wasn't. I just think those are those powerful moments that help us. All right, so I've been teeing you up here because this is my curiosity for for the dads who's coaching kids. Love coaching kids. One of the cool things I try to do coaching baseball is I try to get the rec leagues can be a little weird about this, but if you can come and sit into practice, generally the courts have allowed you to at least be there. So I'm like, hey, come on, Phil, let's go. Hey, I need you to run a station, or I try to involve the dads group, and we have most of the time, like with us, is we just have, and then we've got a group of dads that is just solid. They're really good and they're powerful guys to be around, and they have the kid's best interest in mind and things along those lines. So, thinking about that dad that's listening to us right now, who this message is set up for him. He talks about how busy he is and how he just ain't got time. I made a choice in 2017 just to kind of walk away from that. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. You were W-2 and making your job, probably had good comfort and all the things. Were what went into your thought? Walk us through that time for you and how you freed up
Mm.
kind of where you are now.
Yeah. So first of all, I've always had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. I always knew that I wanted to run a business in some capacity. I had no idea what it was going to look like or what it was supposed to be. But I did the typical thing, went to college, got out of college. I did technical school, so it was only like 2 years. I've got a couple associate's degrees. But started a job right out of college, and worked that job for 8 years. And throughout that whole process, there was multiple times where I was ready to leave, multiple times where I was bored. There wasn't anything inherently bad about the job, or the workplace or the environment or whatever. It was just I was stale. The work was stale. I wasn't moving up. I wasn't getting any better, and I actually felt like I was getting worse, because it was coming to the point of I knew that whether I put in 110% effort or I put in 65% effort, I could still get the job done at 65% effort, and I got more time at home and I got more time with my family. So it was like pushing me towards putting in less effort, which I didn't like at all. And it took me a while to realize that's what was happening. But I wasn't being challenged anymore. And anyway, long story short, it finally came to a head when the economy started getting worse during COVID. After COVID, we were already pretty tight. We're a one income household, and we were already pretty tight with our one son. And then when my wife got pregnant with our second one, that was God had been trying to wake me up for a little while, and then he was like, "All right, buddy, here's your kick in the pants." And I was like, "Okay." So now we're on a time clock. So I started looking for jobs. Really didn't know what I was going to do. I had kind of done some side hustles here and there, trying different businesses while I was working at my W-2, and started looking for sales positions because I knew, I was like, if I get a sales position, I can make commission, and it's based on my performance, on what I do, how hard I work. So that's what I was looking for, and I found one with a solar company, and so didn't know anything about solar, but I went and interviewed with a couple different companies, and it was kind of one of those weird, almost like multi-level marketing
Yeah.
interviews. Basically a big
That's where
group of you are
solar
in a
is.
room.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
where
dude.
solar is right now. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, everybody can have a job. Everybody can
Yeah.
make $500,000 a year." And anyway, with the manager there, he kind of, I don't know. I felt like he was buttering me up. He was probably doing, I mean, he's doing his job, but I come in there and I'm clean cut, I'm fit. I care about my appearance, and a lot of the other people in that room did not. And he was like, "Man, you look like with some of my top sales guys. Like, you've got this in the bag. You can make all kinds of money." And he's feeding my ego, and I'm like, this sounds good. Like, I need to make money. I don't, this needs to happen for my family. And he told me basically, he's like, if you work hard and learn fast, like, sky's the limit. And I'm like, well, I can do both of those things, no problem.
Yep.
So I left my job and went to this 100% commission solar company with no health insurance, really not any backup plan. Emptied my 401k at the time because we had to have money to live on while my son was getting born and I was figuring this out. So did that for a couple months, hated it. Lots of things about it that I didn't like that I can get into, but I won't. And I started doing some home repair work. I have a little bit of a construction background, so I started going to people, and I was actually knocking on doors for home repair work. And I was also doing some coaching on the side at the time. I'd been doing some coaching kind of part-time for a while at that point. And so long story short, as I was building these two businesses, I was doing coaching and I was doing home repair work. And both of them were new businesses. So both of them required a lot of time and effort to get clients. And I finally decided, like, I really don't want to do home repair work. So I'll just take all that time and effort and put it into coaching. And that's where we are now.
Dude, that's really cool. What when we say coaching, what kind of coaching was you doing?
Yeah. So it's strength and nutrition coaching for Christian men,
Yeah.
specifically for Christian men. I felt fitness is something that I've pursued for the better part of a decade,
Oh,
longer than that, but really seriously for a decade.
where's that
And
come from? Where's that come from, Sean? Growing up on a farm, six siblings, mom and dad. Where's the fitness come from?
yeah, so there's different pieces. My dad was always working out in some capacity, whether he was running. He had a Bowflex in the basement, worked out on the Bowflex every morning, so I witnessed it firsthand.
Yep.
My mom would always cook healthy meals, and I'm able to kind of pick on her now because we would get hot dogs occasionally, and she would cook peas with hot dogs. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever had green peas with hot dogs, but when you're 10 years old, that's a
Best
nightmare
thing.
because you get excited about hot dogs, and then you have to eat the peas too. But anyway, she was always cooking healthy meals and making sure we had all of our nutrients and stuff. So my parents would be the first place. And then, growing up, I played sports, so enjoyed doing that. But I was always the skinny kid. Like, I
Yeah.
was 6 feet tall at the age of 13 and about 100 pounds. Um, so I didn't want that. Like, I wanted some muscle.
I
I
was
looked
gonna
like a
say,
giraffe,
dude, big difference
in my high
now.
school photos. Yeah,
I
yeah.
could look at your shoulder definition and your cut. I go like, yeah, that changed quick.
I appreciate it. But so yeah, I started I was working out in high school, worked out in college, had no idea what I was doing, but I was going to the gym and got hooked up. When I got out of college, I took a break for a little while I was working. And kind of similar to you, like, I had no responsibility at the time. So I went to work, I came home, I drank beer, I watched TV, and then I did the same thing the next day. It's like, there's nothing wrong with this. And then my
Did
wife
that
decided,
for probably 15 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I mean that was kind of my life. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So she was my fiance then, my wife now, but she was very honest. She's been blessed with the gift of honesty, and she
Hmm.
kind of started poking me. She's like, "You get a little fluffy," and I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been fluffy." But that was enough for me. So I started really getting into it, diving into the research. Started working with a coach and really started learning about the mechanics and the nutrition and all that stuff. So
Do you feel like now? I mean, this is kind of I'm teeing you up here. Do you? I don't have any regrets. I don't want to put you in that situation, but the Sean figuring it out on his own versus Sean working with the coach.
Oh, night and day,
Yeah, there you go.
night
That's what
and
I
day.
mean. That's what I tell people.
And
I'm
that's
like,
yeah, night and day difference. And that's even like even if I didn't coach for a living, like I
yeah,
would say that because at that time I had no desire to coach for a living. But yeah, man, I'd been spinning my wheels for 5 or 6 years and not getting anywhere. And then I started working with him, and it was like within a year I was making insane gains
yeah.
in the gym and on the scale. So huge difference.
It's and obviously part of it is I hope people will connect with you, and you should. I think yours, but I wanted to tell folks that it was like, man, I tried to figure it out on my own, and I joke I told you the other day. Now you don't have to go as far as buying the place. That's what I did. Ultimately, was I liked it so got so bought in trying to figure it all out. I ended up buying a gym. You don't
Absolutely.
have to go that far, but I really appreciated the coaching and the community. My path to progress changed dramatically when I started working with folks who had been there and done that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's since then, I mean, so I've had, good gosh, I'm trying to think of how many coaches I've had up to this point. And it's not just for fitness. Like I work with a fitness coach now.
Yeah.
I have a coach to do my programming and my stuff now. And he knows a ton more than I do.
Yep. Okay. I work with
And
a
it's just
coach.
that,
Yeah, I have a fitness coach
yeah,
I work with. Yep.
it's that never ending trajectory of growth.
Some
And the
of it,
more that
some
I've,
of it, Sean, I think is I enjoy the guy. Like I enjoy
oh
him.
yeah,
Like we're friends. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I think I enjoy the hour I get to spend with him shooting the breeze, and it's group
of course,
exercise. Like we all
of course.
come together and a little bit of community and shooting the breeze type thing. But I think there's a little bit of that. I don't have to figure it out. He just tells me go and calls me out for
Yes.
my weak squat if I ain't getting low enough, and if I ain't, he's like, "Why you got that little bitty weight type stuff?" Trash talking me like that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and it's man, I've these last few years I've grown more. The last couple of years I've grown more than I have in the last decade.
Yeah,
And I attribute a lot of that to I've had coaches in multiple areas of my life and invested thousands and thousands of dollars to at this point. Um, and honestly, like it's when you have your first experience with a good coach, whether it's fitness related, whether it's marriage related, whatever it is, business, um, it's an unlock. I mean, it's a complete unlock. It's like wow, the stuff that I've been working on and trying to improve for years, I just improved in 3 months, like
yeah.
substantially. So there's I don't foresee a point in my life that I won't have a coach of some capacity.
Mine the workouts was kind of a little bit of it, that kind of came natural. I always struggle with the food part. Yeah,
Hmm.
but the recipe said it was healthy. You can't eat it all. I don't. I mean, you're right. So there's just understanding calories in macros. It took me to probably a year working in fitness before I really that started to register with me. So I just thought the less I ate, the more that the skinnier, the leaner I would get, and I didn't, it could not grasp that I needed to eat 1,000 grams of protein every day.
Yes, yes. For clarifies, guys, he doesn't actually have to eat 1,000, but yeah, it's a lot of
I ate a
protein
lot of yeah,
um, day to day. But yeah, and it takes time, and it's kind of that's what I tell a lot of my clients. It's learning the basics and starting to get into the rhythm and into the habit of eating well and making good choices. Like once you have that established, it's easy to keep doing it.
yeah,
Like it's not. I would rather now. I eat junk food sometimes. Don't get me wrong; it's delicious. I love
yeah,
Doritos. Like
right there. Yeah,
it is what it is. But I'm not going to eat Doritos every day because I feel like junk after I eat them. Like my body does not handle those things well anymore. It used to handle them fine, but once you get to a certain point, it's easier for you to make good decisions because you know how much better you feel because of those decisions that you make. Like your body operates so much better on good quality food and nutrition that you don't even want to go back to that McDonald's every day.
you're spot on, dude. Like I just feel better eating clean.
Mm-hmm.
My clarity's good. I'm not food hungover. I'm not over artificial. All yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely. I wanted to tell you part of that too was on having the expert party is someone like Sean or going to the gym or working with an expert folks. You're going to find um, if you can get in there a little sooner, it's going. Here's my story. I got into fitness because I got denied life insurance when my son was
Mm-hmm.
born. I went to get life insurance and they do a little panel for you to see what your premium's going to be. And my premium was zero because they said they was not going to insure me because I was my blood work and I was so unhealthy. I didn't look
Mm.
bad, but my liver enzymes was off the chart and my all my blood work was my cholesterols and all this other stuff just because I was doing a lot of nothing and
Mm-hmm.
drinking a lot of beer and eating a lot of the wrong things and fast foods and all this stuff. So I and then at times starving myself to stay in a particular size clothes. So I think for folks that's what you'll find as well is if you can really start to learn more and educate yourself and get to the points and just do good things. Now you don't have that hard conversation with a stranger that's like, oh yeah, we can't insure you because of your. And that was my turnaround point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's the quicker you can get into it, the less bad that you have to undo. And maybe that's with yourself, maybe that's with your
Yeah,
body. But the other thing we're talking about fatherhood, the other thing that you have to look at is what are your kids going to do when your kids become adults? And that's there. I've had some clients that I've asked this question, like, "Hey, am I going to have this conversation with your son in 20 years,
yeah,
or am
big
I going
deal.
to have this conversation with you now?" And then you can teach him through your actions,
That's a big deal.
like you were
Yeah,
saying before, man. It's like don't when you say what's your greatest advice on parenting, don't let your kids grow up with the same shit that you did.
yep. Now we work
And
back.
eating well and being healthy is part of that.
And working in around athletes too. Me and my wife will go back and forth on this. She's one of these folks that nutrition like why can't I don't understand why y'all don't understand this. This is simple, and she
Mm.
gets it so easily that she thinks the rest of the world should get it, and it comes so easy to her that she thinks everybody's. I'm like so when we're coaching and working with kids, this one will come up a lot. Is on the nutrition side of it. You go to a weekend tournament and we're gonna do lunch and they want to do hamburgers, hot dogs, pasta salads, and everything that I just don't think a high performance athlete should eat. And
Agree.
so it helps us kind of lean into the educational side of like saying this is what that kind of looks like. And then if we can affect a little change and just nurturing the conversation, what we'll find is folks will ask like, hey, how do y'all do this? And
Mm-hmm.
folks, I'll tell you, our hack. My wife meal preps for us on Sunday the entire week, and
Yep.
All I'm doing is there's three different foods in my refrigerator, and I'm a minute in the microwave and I'm eating. And
I
so
love it.
everything's done. We try to meal prep in advance. So I wanted to give everybody that little hack of once we figured out that part of it, so you're not stuck in trying to prep every night. You can cook dinner, pick a night. Hey, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna cook dinner, we're gonna do all this stuff, but it don't have to be every single night of trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. And the other piece that you guys took out of the equation is the decision fatigue of trying to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
the decision every day of what you're going to eat. Like you think about how many decisions you have to make day in and day out. It's ridiculous. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of decisions. And now, the food piece, you're like, no worries. I'll grab something quick. I don't want to have to think about it because you've got decision fatigue for making decisions all day long. So when you do this meal prep thing or you plan ahead and you say, this night we're having this night we're having this night we're having this night we're having this, it no longer becomes a decision of like, hey, do we actually cook this good food or do we go grab McDonald's? Because you've already made the decision. You just have to execute on it now. Or for
Yeah,
you, if you've already meal prepped, it's like it's there now. I just have to eat it.
big deal, Dave.
Definitely a hack. Yep.
Tell me, in one of your one of the biggest things I think part of your messaging just comes back to one of the number one struggles for men being passivity.
Mm.
Talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing there and explain, because I know it. I know what you're talking about. Some of those guys I try to get over on that field and like do this. They rather I'll catch wind that they was trash talking under the breath about what decision we made or whatever. Like, hey man, you come on, you get to be part of this. You can come out here and make decisions with us all day long and be part of this fun. But talk, educate us. Tell us what you see there.
Yeah. So when I say passivity, I deal with, Christian men. So that's primarily what I'm speaking to. But I see a lot of guys in Christian circles, in the Christian church, that are overweight, that are going to a job that they hate and they despise day in and day out, that are not active taking initiative in their kids' lives, that are allowing, whether that be a TV or a cell phone or the school system or whatever you want to call it, allowing that to have a bigger impact on their kids' lives than they do. They're coming home, they're turning on the TV, they're drinking beer, they're playing video games, whatever that looks like. Their wife is absolutely exhausted, their kids want nothing to do with them. So when I say passivity, that's what I'm talking about.
Folks, he's not attacking you. It's just
Not in
one
the
of those
slightest.
things. It's one of those things that he's pointing out, and I've been there. I think a lot of us have been there, and if you feel like this is you, and you want to change that, because I think that's one of the things is once you get pointed out, like, hey, wait a minute, Dave Ramsey did this crap to me one time, Sean. He was like telling a story, and I was like, damn, I feel like he's talking about me. Um, like in this situation where it's the whole goal is to provoke me to take action. Where can you in your program and what you see inside of that, how do you take that mentality and how do you walk with them to affect that change?
Well, there's a couple different pieces there, and I do want to clarify. I don't think a lot of guys do it on purpose.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
think
Yeah.
they're living a. I think it's just a. They don't know any better. They don't understand. Like they want to be more involved in their kids' lives, but maybe they don't know how. They want to. I hope they want to have a better marriage. I don't know that for sure. But we kind of get into these habits, into these daily routines, whether we're scrolling our phone or, we're playing video games or watching TV or we just kind of, we feel like we have to come home and unplug, or we feel like we have to go to this job that we hate because it's safe, because we've been told to by society or,
Yeah.
by whatever influence has been in your life. And you just keep doing it over and over and over again and you never question it. So a lot of guys, what I bring up a lot of the times is I just ask, like, why do you do that? Why do you go to that job? Well, it's a safe option. Is it? If you're an employee, think about it this way. I had a mentor tell me this one time. I'm trying not to butcher this. If you're an employee, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a W-2 job. Don't
Mhm.
hear what I'm not saying. But if you're an employee, you have one client. That's your employer. That's your only client. If that client decides that he doesn't want to work with you anymore, he can fire you and you're done. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, you have multiple clients. So if one
Yeah.
client decides to fire you, you still have more clients. So I just wanted to share that because we've been so conditioned to think that entrepreneurship or business ownership is so dangerous and so risky and so dangerous and so risky. And in all reality, you have zero control over whether or not you keep the job that you're currently in. So if you hate it, start taking some steps to get towards something that you like better, that is going to fill your cup up more, that is going to align with the man that God created you to be more, because that job that you hate can be taken from you in an instant. So I got on a bit of a different soapbox there.
No,
Uh,
no,
I apologize, but
it's earned, right? That's perfect timing, because you're. And the other thing I would tell you is, parenting's hard, man. Parenting's hard.
amen.
Parenting's hard without a little bit of rough upbringing that you're trying to shield your kids from. Parenting is
Amen.
absolutely and here's the thing that folks don't. You're parenting in the age of technology.
Ooh, Yeah,
right?
that provides a whole nother level.
Your kids' access to distractions and information. The example I love to use when I'm kind of mentoring on this, and I go, back when I was going to send somebody a middle finger picture when I grew up, I had to take it with a roll of film and send it off, and it took 2 weeks to come back, only to realize it was blurry. Now it's instant. It's
Instant. Yep.
yeah, it's like, man, if it's blurry, you can retake it. And then make sure you send it. There's no pause between the impulse.
Oh, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
And to kind of, to kind of tie in what we've been talking about is the reason we're talking about fitness, the reason we're talking, specifically, or the reason that I'm talking specifically to you men is because we can talk about parenting, we can talk about the tactics, we can talk about what's good, what's not good. The bottom line is your kids are going to grow up and they're going to learn the things that you teach them by the things that you do. So when we talk about fitness, we talk about nutrition, we talk about living actively and not living passively. That makes you a better father because it makes you a better human being because it makes you a better man. You have to start with yourself in these areas before you can even think about teaching your kids these things or think about teaching your community these things. This is the self leadership stuff that then qualifies you to lead your family and your community better. But you can't do that until you do it for yourself. So that's why it may feel pointed. It may feel like, geez, they're harping on me a lot. It's like, because the fate of your family, the fate of your kids, how your kids grow up, what they learn, what they have to deal with when they're 25 or 30 years old is in direct reflection of what you teach them now. And when I say what you teach them now, I mean what you do now.
The effort you put forth as the dad in this case, fellas, ladies, send this to your hubs or your significant others, because it's a good message for them. Is it's hard to being my stepdad. He's been on crutches. He's been on crutches for 51 years, be 52 years next year. Never a day in my life did me and him get to run together.
Wow.
Like, I've never ran with that man a day in my life. We rode motorcycles, we raced cars, we did a bunch of stuff, cool stuff, but I never ran a foot race with him. My son one time when he was little, he said, "Dad, why we run so much? We're always running." I go, "Because I ain't never get to run with my dad, buddy." So,
Mm.
um, really leaning into that example of kind of, I think what I'd like to tell folks is make sure you get right with you, and someone like
Amen.
Sean just working through just leadership, just learning how to lead yourself. And what you'll find sometimes, Sean, is some guys, they got it all together, they just don't have that playbook because they want to be the best, and I get
Of
that.
course.
That's where you come in. But there's also those guys that have a little bit of, they need to forgive themselves for some shortcomings, and learning
100%.
how to forgive
Yeah.
yourself especially before you get in deep with kids and parenting, and it really helps you turn some corners about not passing on your crap to them. um
Can I share something with you, Jeff, with the audience?
Please, dude, this is your show.
I've
I'm rambling.
I've had to work with a coach for that very reason.
Ah,
I've had to work with a coach on my mental stuff, on how to forgive myself, on how to show up as lean into my worth versus thinking my worth came from how much I did. Because when I say a lot of my own worth was tied to how hard I could work and how fast I could work, that was a deep issue. I'm not 100% sure where it came from, but that's a work that I've had to work on quite a bit with myself. So don't think you're not okay for having to work through that because you 100% are.
so I appreciate you sharing that, because my part of my study last night was for I put a plan together to be efficient. But I'm not going to create unnecessary busy work for other people. I'm going to work more on my stuff, and a little bit of just whether it might be on my faith. It's not, but I'm not going to go out seeking busy work and let me see what I can do more. is that was part of my study last night, dude. So that, I mean, perfect timing for you to share that with me, man. I really appreciate that because it's what I needed to hear because I struggle with saying hard work, let's go, get it done,
Yeah,
more
man.
better. We
Yeah.
can and you get over in it, and that you fall into that trap of purpose because hard work, Sean, gives me and you, folks like me and you, when you walk in at night and you're slightly out of breath, you feel like your purpose has been fulfilled.
Yeah. And hard work is a good thing. Like that's a good trait. It's a good quality. The problem is we tie our identity to it.
Ah,
That's the issue. Because your
yep.
identity comes from Christ. Your identity doesn't come from what you accomplish. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. But yeah, it can be, there can be too much of that quote unquote good thing.
Man, I folks. Let me go back. So that's remember what Sean just told us there of making sure that we don't, because that's part of my issue was identifying with everything I've ever done. When I was a police officer, I was a police officer. That's what I did. That's who I was. My identity was wrapped up in that, and I didn't know how to disengage. I gotten better at it. I still struggle with it even years later, but now
Of
I'm
course.
knowing what hat to turn on. So, man, that's really well placed. Um, in my life today, real like present day of just the best advice you could have given me. So, what I would like for everyone out there to hear, it's like what he's telling you, man. That's real, and figuring out how you can um, be purposeful, but not overindulge because that's the thing. I think it's probably what it is. We want to be known for hard workers, and it's comes from us growing up in farms and around hardworking men. Um,
Yeah,
I
man.
get that.
100%. 100%. But yeah, it's just not, I mean, it's not, that doesn't equate to your identity. What you accomplish isn't your identity, isn't who you are.
We're speaking of that as it's take a little second here, or take as long as you need, but we're at that point to where hopefully some ears is opened up, dude. And there's some folks that are like, dang man, these fellas seem like they showed two strangers met here today to have a conversation that seems like we've been talking about for years, folks. So if it's speaking to you the way it's speaking to me, um, you know, what's some advice, Sean, that you can give to that man who feels stuck and living that comfortable life, but is maybe got that feeling that they're meant for more? What kind of advice you got for them?
Mm, that's so good. First of all, you are meant for more. Everything that I do, everything that I say, everything that I talk about, I try to look at it from a Christian perspective, from a Christian worldview. And God did not create us on this earth to be comfortable. And that doesn't mean He doesn't want you to have a level of comfort. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that you have to just have like just suffering all the time. But what it means is we have to rely on Him. And the more quote unquote comfortable you are, in my life, it's always been the more comfortable I am, the less I'm relying on Him. If that makes sense. Like I've come to grips and come to comfort with this job and with this paycheck and with where I'm at and with this house that we live in and blah 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 blah. And when I left that job, because I always thought that I was like, oh, I trust God with my finances because I'm Christian. I'm supposed to trust God with my finances. And then I left the job that had been paying my bills for almost a decade. And I was like, that was a slap in the face. I was like, I don't know that I trusted God with my finances because now I have to. Like, there's no other option. So anyway, I started getting a little kind of off on another tangent, but as far as actionable advice, first of all, remember where your worth comes from. Second of all, take a long look in the mirror and know that you matter, not because of what you've done, not because of what you haven't done, but because the king of the world made you and decided that the world needed one of you. So that would be my action step. And then after that, know that you can take some responsibility for where you are, and know that you have to put your oxygen mask on first in order to put the oxygen mask on for others. Meaning that it is not selfish for you to take care of you. I don't mean that you have to go buy a bass boat tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying take care of your mindset. I'm saying take care of your physical body. I'm saying take care of your finances. And all of that oozes over into every other area of your life. As you fill your cup up, then it can overflow and you can fill up the cups of those around you. But the problem that I see with a lot of guys today is they've been taught just to serve and to lay down their life and to serve and to lay down their life. And while that's true to an extent, what that doesn't mean is pouring your cup out so much so that there's nothing left. But then day in and day out, you're still trying to scrape the bottom of that cup. You matter enough to go fill your cup up, so then you can give out of the abundance of your heart instead of continuing to try to scrape the bottom of your heart when you just don't even feel like you're worth it anymore. That's all I got.
It's a lot, buddy. It's folks, if you need to hit pause and rewind and listen to that last little bit, bump it back about 2 minutes, 30, a couple 30-second bumps, and move that back and listen to what Sean's telling you there. How, if as we wrap up, tell them how they can get in touch with you. Your website. I dropped your social handle there. Do you got a website, or how do you want folks to reach out for you, brother?
Man, so yeah, social media right now. We're in the
Yep.
works of building a sick website. It's not completely done, but it is in the process. But yeah, Instagram at the Sean McManus, X at the Sean McManus, Facebook at Sean McManus, any of those platforms. You guys just want to reach out. Happy to chat. Happy to help you get to your next step, whatever that looks like. Would love to serve you.
Yeah, man. Listen, folks. I've been there. I needed a Sean in my life. A couple times, and I needed that direction. And when you work with someone like Sean, it's as long as you feel like you need it. It's not the lifetime commitment, but I know folks that stay in these programs for because they jail. It's a good vibe. It's exactly where you need to be. So it's no different. No different than any other positive circle that you want to put yourself in, and um, make sure you take advantage of that. Give this guy a follow on social media, and check out his stuff and his offerings. Because when you if you he, it's a unique problem, and it's cool, as niche as it is, but his focus is on Christian men and helping them walk on their path, and get better as being a parent and all the things that we struggle with. So someone like him being in your corner, I would definitely make sure you take a second to give him a follow and check out what he's got to offer. But dude, I feel like I feel like this is one of those where that I would always like to say, man, I think we just touched on a little bit of what you do, and I'm excited as time goes on for me and you to catch back up and keep kind of this conversation going, and as things evolve with you and your situation, that website gets launched or what have you, and you want to come back and you want to share the word with me and my guests, man, definitely, I'd absolutely love that opportunity. But I can't thank you enough, man, for what you do and for where you are to live the life you have, and to um you said some things that spoke to me. There's some commonalities that you and I both share. So I understand that water that you're toting from the creek to the house every night. So I really appreciate you sharing with me like you have today, man. And I can't wait to have you back on. And anything me and my group can do to support you, make sure you let us know, brother.
Jeff, thank you, man. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I'm looking forward to the start of what I feel like is probably going to be a pretty cool friendship, and looking forward to coming back and talking to your audience again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sean McManus on the Jeff Robertson Show.